Greetings. Welcome to today's session of Monday Munching and Musing with Women for Water. This session is conducted with the support of Water Resources Council of the Women's Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry and in collaboration with W4W Foundation and media partner Counterview. My name is Mansi Bal Bhargav and I'm also holding the position of National President of the Wiki Water Resource Council and the founder director of W4W Foundation. And I'm the host today. So welcome to Monday Munching session at Shaili Jasthi. We are excited to have you in our session and also eager to hear and learn from you. As I said, this session is more about knowing the women in the water sector, and we are really interested to understand the journey of women. So before I invite you to interact with us, it's a good idea to really have a brief introduction of yours. Shaili Jasthi is a WASH professional with 13 plus years of experience in the development sector. She has a master's graduate in environmental science and technology, and she's been topper all her life. She has worked with international and national organizations and contributed to various WASH projects across the country. She engages with UNICEF, WaterAid, ASCII, etc. over the years. She has experience in program management, research and advocacy, monitoring and evaluation, and she manages teams and partners for effective implementation of programs and projects. Besides capacity building and training of the trainers, she has undertook many training sessions with as expert trainers, and she takes a proactive role for various advocacy and networking related activities. She's working closely with various state and district government and supported them in realizing their goals on WASH. In the last 3 years, she's been closely working with government of Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, and Telangana on Jal Jeevan Mission. So this is the professional biography, I must say. And now the actual conversation starts about Shaili as a woman we would like to know. So welcome, Shaili, and we are really happy to have you here. And thank you for agreeing, first of all.
Thank you so much, Mansi, for having me as well. It's a pleasure to be with you in this conversation today.
Yeah. So once you say you are ready to go, I'm going to start with very simple question. And my first question to you is actually, how did you really get into the water sector? And I'm sure there was some moment in life when you decided that, yes, I belong here. I wish to be here forever. Go ahead.
Uh, so, so Mansi, I've been working very closely with the communities.
Mm-hmm.
The first sentence we always start with in the communities is water is a subject that is very closely related to women.
Mm.
So that's how we encourage rural women or urban women in the slums to take ownership of their water resources. So there was also a point in my life, like you asked. I initially started as an environmental consultant in one of a leading technical organization. And then my job, I worked on different projects, solid waste management, waste minimization, biomedical waste management, etc. But then the job actually led to me a project called Water Security in Peri-urban South Asia, where we have looked at case studies from Gurgaon and Hyderabad in India, and also from Bangladesh and Nepal. This was a 3-year project, and this project has actually given me a lot of exposure to water-related issues in our country and also in developing countries as a whole. And that's where I've actually developed an interest that, I will design my future in this particular subject. And I've been working on water, drinking water issues, as well as sanitation and hygiene from then on.
Interesting. And I'm sure you feel very contented being in the water sector, especially when you work in the wash sector and all.
Yes.
So if you could, I did read your bio, but if you could tell your current, everyday activity and engagements and how it is being a professional engaging with the community day in and out.
So right now, as I've shared with you, I am currently working on supporting the governments as a technical expert in implementing Jal Jeevan Mission. So this role comes with a lot of responsibility because you need to develop models at the community level, at the same time provide the right sort of technical expertise to the governments, actively involved in policy and advocacy with the government, so that the actual goal of, the functional household tap connection to every household, is achieved, and that there's
In
no
urban area. And this is urban area.
rural
Rural.
communities. So,
Mm,
and that there's nobody left behind.
mm,
Uh, and the interesting part of my work is that I get to work with communities. I get to see that the work what we design gets translated directly into the communities. And at the end of the day, when you see a smile from a woman who is able to get the water right at her footstep, is it's like I can't describe in words. The job satisfaction is really nice here.
interesting. So when you say job satisfaction, and you're also, I can see from your face how satisfactory it must be, and I can completely relate with it, having worked on ground several years. I would like to understand from you, especially when you mentioned that you work in the rural sector, and I'm presuming that you live in the urban areas, right?
Yes, yes.
So, just trying to understand your routine, how it is to really take care of your urban life and lifestyle, family, and all, and then taking a profession which is rural setting, and then a lot of challenges. What is your on a regular day then? How do you deal with these two, worlds, and also these two roles as a woman?
So let me start with you. Let me start by telling you that this has not been an easy process for me. It's been a constant evolution because I'm born and brought up in a city, and I've never been to rural areas prior to my job. So
Hmm.
all my grandparents or
So
cousins,
my
everybody
question
was
is
here.
right then. My question is right then.
Yeah. So I really have no idea about the challenges the rural women face. I it becomes very, I mean, it's a very sensitive topic, but you have, when you're in this particular field, you just can't go and say, hey, do that, do this. You really need to understand what are the issues actually people face, so that you can actually design a solution that suits them, and not, it's not a solution that fits for all. So, this has come up with a lot of hard work, Mansi. I have taken, I was in the field. I was lucky that I was mentored with very good experts, like Anjal Prakash, Vishal Narayan in my initial career days, who actually, spread the, like they asked me to spread my wings and told me to focus on ethnographic work. I'm still using the word ethnographic work because in my initial days I would always say field work, field work. But
Uh,
they would say, no, it's not field work, it's ethnographic work.
you're working
So
with your subject.
yeah, and then I got to learn a lot of social research methodologies, which was
Mm,
actually something that I've never learned in my education because I come from a very technical background.
mm,
So these were all something that I kept on learning from the field. And as you can also relate, once you are in the field, you get yourself immersed in it.
yes,
And
absolutely.
today, if I'm confidently able to speak in front of an IAS officer, it's because of the experience I've gained in the field by
Mm,
interacting with various community members. And
mm,
thankfully, I was not just restricted to South India in the initial days of my career. I have gained experiences from across many states in the country.
mm,
So I really know what I'm talking now.
mm.
So I- it's been a dream job actually for me.
Interesting. So I
Yeah.
still would like to know how you manage your urban life and rural profession as a woman, because see, on one hand we are talking about helping those women in a vulnerable situation, and if I put ourselves as not in vulnerable situation,
Yeah.
because we have access to water,
Yes.
but as a woman, we have other responsibilities, and especially when we look at professional women in today's India, they bear the burden, a double burden of proving themselves as good professionals, but
Totally.
at the same time proving themselves as a good daughter, sister, mother, everything.
Yes.
How is Shaili doing this balancing act between profession and family?
So, Mansi, I know I have heard a lot of women in your talk show itself tell that this is really not easy. It comes with a lot of sacrifices,
Definitely.
and you need a lot of family support to do this kind of a job. Because
Yes.
once you are in a field, sometimes it takes like 15 days, 21 days to get back to home.
Yes. And that's
And
where the question is actually.
yeah, and so definitely it's like it comes with a lot of sacrifices. It's not at all easy. Um, and there's always a constant guilt feeling that you're not giving enough to the family.
Hmm.
I have always been a very career-oriented woman, so I've always given more to the work life, more to my job life. And somewhere I always thought my family would understand. They did, and I think I'm here today because of them. Um, it's not been easy, and I also relate to one of your point where we women we try to compete with men and we overdo our work. We
That you
try
become.
to constantly prove that we are no less than men,
Hmm.
especially when it comes to field work or especially when it comes to all the man kind of jobs. We tend to outdo ourselves, strain
It's actually
ourselves.
superwoman syndrome, huh?
I know. No, because
I have surrendered from super. I want to be just woman, no superwoman.
no, because Mansi, the job sector, if you see, I mean, the sector in which we see is a highly competitive sector.
Yes.
We have very less jobs, and we constantly have to compete with each other to sustain in our jobs. And at a point when it comes to picking up a woman, the bosses or the recruiters are always like, do we have to go for a woman because she always have family related issues,
Hmm.
you
Personal
know,
issues.
yeah,
So,
family related issues. You won't believe me, Manasi. These are the top two companies I'm talking of when I've been to interviews. So they right away ask me when I'm planning to have my kids, when I'm planning to take a maternity leave,
accordingly, they will think whether to
whether
recruit
to
you.
recruit me or not. So
So, how was your response in those situations?
I I had to really maintain my calm and composure at that point of time. But then
I can
I was
relate.
very offended, and it took me days to recover from that trauma because we were never see we've always performed. We have good credentials, we've good experiences, but the interview questions were never surrounded around that.
No, it is more about gender. Interview questions are about gender.
Yes.
It's not my
And
interview,
the
but I
first question
interview.
they'll always ask is, are you willing to travel?
Huh. Are you okay being on the field?
Yeah. So
So I
there's a
think
constant.
that question also is a masculine question. Why to ask this question?
Yes,
You know,
exactly.
instead, the society should allow that kind of environment so that we can comfortably work on field. I mean,
Yes.
I know India is still not that safe, and probably that is why people ask those questions. And also, because most of the time there are men sitting in front of you,
Yes.
asking this question. Very few times you find women sitting on the bench and asking question, and that's why this kind of question. But I have also faced some funny situations like this, but this is not my interview. I will share it with you outside this conversation.
Would
But
love
let
to
me
hear
take you
that.
to, yeah, let me take you to another question here, and I'm going to move to the second section actually, and talk about role and responsibility of leadership. uh, you have quite a number of years now in the sector, and before you also joined Wiki Water Resource Council, I'm sure you also realized it that there are not many women found in the water sector,
Yes.
first of all.
Yes.
But when we find some women, I still go one step further there, because being a professional is not equal to being a leader.
Yes.
Leader,
Yes.
leader is somebody else.
Yes.
And my concern is both ways. Why there are so less women in the water sector, but and because leadership is pyramidal, women have challenges. So what is you, in your opinion, what are the challenges women face to really uh, rise the ladder of let's say hierarchy or leadership, or even the head of the organizations? I mean, for me, leadership is really wide. I'm going to talk about it in the later part, once after I hear you. But what do you think? What are the reasons that there are very few women in the sector, despite the fact that women are considered to be the custodians of water?
Yeah. So, Mansi, this there has always been a struggle for any woman to express herself and also prove her worthiness in an organization or in any job capacity for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
And all my career, I've always worked with male bosses and very few, I wouldn't even say women bosses, but women leadership at mid level. Maybe I can put it that way. When it comes to work, women are always preferred to, do the data analysis, monitoring, evaluation, because they know that they're like spot on. You know,
That's very good managers, actually.
yeah, they're very good and like they're very good at multitasking, they're very good at networking, people pleasers and all. But somehow I don't know that when it comes to decision making power,
Huh,
that's something that is still a limitation for women to get it.
huh.
Even
So,
at a grassroots level, Mansi, if you can relate,
hmm,
there are these VWSC committees that are formed at a village level.
hmm,
Normally, the sarpanch is the chair of VWSC committees. So
hmm,
sometimes what happens is because of the women-related reservations, the sarpanches are the females.
hmm.
So
Are
they
they
are
real,
elected.
real or tokenism?
Yeah, they're elected as the presidents, but they never have vocal power. It's always the husband who sits beside them and keeps on directing what she should say.
Husband, son. I mean, I have also faced this, brother
Yes,
or brother-in-law. So
yes,
depending on whoever is the educated
yes,
woman in the house, they just put her there. So we do have these dummy situations. But what are the other reasons? I mean, are there any reasons from the women's side apart from they are not expressing themselves? Or I know, I mean, the water itself is a water problem is a patriarchal problem, and it's not only water. By the way, in all sector we have serious problem. Look at the parliament. Look at the chief minister. There is only one chief minister in the entire country now,
yes,
and now that also everyone is after her life.
yes,
You know,
yes,
just one chief minister, and everybody is almost fighting with me when I talk to them that this is a patriarchal problem that we have one chief minister, and because there is one mistake that happened in the state, everyone is after her.
yes,
Nobody is talking about the same mistake happening in other states where there are men chief minister. So
yes,
I can completely understand that kind of situations which women face. But there are not many women reaching that ladder as well. I mean, if I look at from independence time, we have not yet had any woman minister as Minister of Water, Jal Shakti or Water Resources.
yes,
I'm,
yes,
I'm, I'm talking about the top leadership in the
yes,
country. But
yes, yes,
at all the organizations as well. When it comes to leading the organization, vice chancellors, department heads,
yes.
I mean, somehow women fall short of those
Yeah.
positions.
So one of the reason from my experiences I could relate is this actual period of mid professional period is very crucial for women, but that's the period also where her family life needs to be prioritized. That's
Yes.
where a
Uh,
woman always takes a step behind and somehow she gets back in the race, and
hmm,
it takes a lot of time for her to get back into the race. And before she really opens her eyes, her contemporaries are always, I mean, are already on the top.
hmm,
And in some situations, I wouldn't say in all situations, when the contemporaries are on the top, they always try to, bring in juniors than her,
hmm,
so that the competition is kind of eliminated.
that's so true.
Yeah.
Yes, I think there is a lot of insecurity also for among the people
Yes.
who rise.
Yes. Yes.
Let me tell you, it's not only the family that can hold you back because I chose not to have children.
Yeah.
But still, that midlife time when you can really rise, there are some many, many issues. Everybody has their own story and all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, probably you have not gone through that stage when we can discuss this more. Maybe after 10 years, we have more wisdom from you on this. How do you overcome these situations?
Yeah.
But it's not easy. It's definitely not easy because this is a very crucial stage where you are right now. I mean,
Yes.
what
Yes.
path you take from here is going to really tell us where you are going to be after 10, 15 years. I mean, so it's, I mean, hold on to your breath and just stick around. That will be my point. But let me ask you a very generic question on leadership because, see, there are two things which we need to understand when we talk about leadership. That leadership, A, is a genderless position.
Yes. Yes.
However, as part of patriarchal disease that we carry on, and women also carry patriarchal disease, it's not only men carrying patriarchal
Yes.
disease.
Yes.
As a woman, I am also probably not so comfortable looking at a woman boss. I mean,
Yes.
that's a serious problem.
Yes. Yes.
Um, but just giving an example, but as leadership is first of all pyramidal. So in 100 member organization, one person is going to be leader. So of course competition, and also it's a gender-led situation. Having said that, there are certain traits and skills that are definitely inherent and that are definitely looked up to in a leader, irrespective of which gender or which background the person is coming. What, in your opinion, are those traits and skills and characteristics of a good leader?
I think the characteristics of good leader is always the first one is to analyze the strengths and weakness of your team
Hmm.
and always bring the team closer and not divide and rule.
Hmm.
Have empathy towards your team, not sympathy, but empathy towards your team.
Hmm.
And bring in a positive work related atmosphere among the team members. Because I always believe that not I mean a single person cannot achieve everything. If an
Hmm.
organization or if any company has to survive, it's always about teamwork. So
Absolutely.
I think you really need to understand your team strength to actually deliver the kind of the desired outputs for any related goals of the organization.
Would you like to mention some women in the water sector as leaders that you revere or you think they are really inspiring for you?
Uh, right now, I'm a very big fangirl of Vinny Mahajan Madam, who is the Secretary of Ministry of Jal Shakti. The
Hmm.
way I've been working since I've been working on Jal Jeevan Mission. I've
Hmm.
been watching her very closely. She brings in a lot of passion to the department, and she keeps inspiring a lot of us actually.
Mhm.
So I really like Vinny Mahajan, ma'am.
Yeah, okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
Good to hear that. Let me take a question with you on network and councils. And I'm sure, apart from Wiki Water Resource Council, you are also a member of other associations based on your education, some alumni network, and so on and so forth. What do you think these
ఏం
councils,
చేస్తాడబ్బా నాకు అర్థం కాదు లోపలికి వెళ్ళి బట్
sorry, uh, okay. What do you think they are important, or what kind of you think usefulness they hold in your own career?
So, the councils and networks are definitely very important, Mansi. I have, like you said, I've been part of many networks for quite some time. It brings a sense of belongingness, and in Wiki, it brings a sense of sisterhood, and that's how you've always maintained it. But to sustain these councils or networks, I think there is a real need for fund and
Hmm.
also a strong leadership like you. I mean, we all have been very inactive for some quite some time actually for a long time. But then I think it's just your passion which kept Wiki Water Resources Council go on
Just
till
doing
now.
my duty. I'm just doing my duty. That's it. I
No,
think everybody
but
has to do their duty.
but
That's it.
you're the one who keeps pushing all of us. So
Yeah, that's my
similarly for
duty.
any network or for
Duty.
any
So
similarly for any network or any council that is really successful or which is active right now, I think a strong leader is very much necessary. And I also feel that we need to keep meeting each other physically,
hmm.
which actually
We
keeps
have
up
a
the
good
momentum.
council members in Hyderabad. Huh? Let me tell you, it's a large council group in Hyderabad.
Yes,
So
yes.
maybe we have to plan something there.
Yes, yes. So, I think we need to be engaged collectively in some sort of activities
Hmm.
to keep the interest going, and, so that everybody collectively has this vision of working together.
Absolutely. The thing is, people have to realize that councils and associations are good when you make use of it and
Yes,
also you contribute towards it.
yes, yes,
So I hear you. You said that physical meetings are important. Yes. Then the question is who is going to organize it? It has to be self-organized, but then still there is some leader required. Like
yes,
wherever I'm going, I'm trying to meet the
yes.
council members and so on and so forth. So I would like to understand from you how to strengthen these kind of councils, uh, and also especially focusing on what kind of activities you think council can should do or can do, knowing that we are almost now 100 members in the council. And at the same time, what do you think you can contribute to the council in what ways?
Yeah. So, Mansi, from my past previous experience of handling networks and councils, like shared with you, a dedicated fund is always something which keeps the momentum going on. So I've shared, physical meetings, workshops, seminars is something that brings all of us together.
Mhm.
So probably I can always contribute as a resource person and actively get engaged in some activities that the council is working on.
Mhm.
Um, and I don't mind myself restricted only to Hyderabad. Like we can all, if it's really interesting event, we can all travel to different states.
Absolutely.
Yeah, meet up and everything. And also one more thing that I think we should like is like whenever we are organizing any workshops or seminars in our particular states, I think somewhere like we can bring in our fellow wiki members as resource persons. Uh,
Absolutely.
like
I'm
as we
trying
all say, instead of a manalist, we can have a balanced panel members.
Absolutely. We are trying to do, we just had a workshop in Manipur. Our Wiki Manipur president had organized a workshop. I was there and she had opened it for everyone, but not many people at this point in time can travel to Manipur, and that's where we were just two of us there. But yes, from time to time, there have to be events organized, and then people have to also think its importance to be there because as I mentioned, and I will reiterate that point, that councils and associations are good only if you make use of it and also if you contribute towards it. And by contribution, it means you have to give time. You have to really engage with the
Yes.
council members in collaborations. I mean, in projects, in research, in teaching, or even in just meeting over
Yes.
and thinking about something doing together. Exploring collaborations for that matter. Uh, let me just ask you a simple question here. Because we are already talking about water problems being patriarchal and water profession being patriarchal itself, uh, how do you think the younger generation from you and a generation after you, because after you also we have two, three more generation up to Gen Z and I don't know all those names
Yes.
and all.
Yes.
Would you think we should be really keeping in mind when we are talking to them, mentoring them, or they should keep in mind, especially to engender the sector, especially to move. We cannot do it overnight, but to move slowly towards making a more gender balanced profession. What are the things we should keep in mind? All generations for that.
So, definitely, Mansi, I think when we think about encouraging the younger generations, I think the first thing I would always like to share is we should act like leaders here, even though we are not leaders.
Absolutely, we must, yes.
Yeah. So instead of having an insecurity, sometimes what happens is when there's a young blood in the team, somewhere even you tend to get insecurity because uh, they come with a lot of new ideas and concepts, and probably you're still stuck at the same place. But
Mm.
I think we need to move beyond that insecurity ourselves, understand, like try to involve their ideas, work together, understand their point of view in accessing the work related uh, activities, and support each other as much as possible.
Because I think you raised an important point. Sometimes people feel more insecure when they see other,
Yeah.
younger people also. But
Yeah.
does that also work with between genders? I mean, how do we really reduce this gender problem or gender gap or bring gender balance?
Uh, so it's actually really difficult to make any younger generation understand this problem, because I feel that this comes with professional experience. The maturity comes with professional experience.
Anything we can teach them? So,
I
but
think.
anyway, we are not teaching enough water also. So that is also my next question, actually, how to bring more water professionals into the field. Mm.
Yeah. So, coming back to what you asked, I think they need, I mean, both the genders needs to be very sensitive to each other, not just a single gender. And they need to understand each other limitations and support each other, by working as a team. I always believe in teamwork. So I think, again, like I said, a good leader will always lead the team more effectively and efficiently.
Mm-hmm. So, because we don't have much of water education happening in the country, I myself is not a water expert,
Yeah.
and we are seeing that the water crisis is rising, but the water education is reducing.
Yes.
So, how do we really manage the situation? Because all of us are trying hands and learning from the field, which comes at a huge cost. But would you like to give any message to younger generation that why they should join water sector, or are there opportunities in the water sector? What it means, that how fulfilling it is to be in the water sector? What will be your message to them?
So Mansi, before going for the message, I would like to tell something from my own experience, which you can also relate. For a very long time, social researchers really struggled to make their presence known in this water field, because
Water is
water,
engineering.
water was always associated as an engineering subject. And when you say an engineering subject, it was always a man-related subject.
Mm-hmm.
So it there itself there was always a restriction for any female to actually enter into this particular arena. But thankfully to you and other wash related experts in this sector, that there was slowly a change, um, which has actually brought a lot of people like me and other practitioners right now in the sector, where most of them are like engaged in the NGOs or UN agencies, and the governments are actually now ready to be, they're very receptive to people who are actually working in the social science sector.
Probably it took them a long time to realize that more than 50% of the work is of social science, and
Yes.
engineering is go and put it there. Come on.
Yeah. And now we are at a state where we have this piece of understanding that it is social engineering that needs to
Absolutely,
be
it is social engineering.
engineering.
The
Yeah.
fact that the success and failure of a project lies in how the social engineering is managed, means how
Yeah.
people understand the project, how they are able to operate, how they're able to appreciate.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the thing is, unless and until we are breeding more water professionals,
Yes.
we are going to be, I call myself accidental, probably accidental professional. I mean, I'm not educated at all in water.
Yeah.
And if we are not teaching enough, I mean, I feel somehow sometimes feel more scared because knowingly or unknowingly, we may do more harm to the water sector
Yes.
uh, because we are not holistically educated. So how can we really improve the water education in the society? What are your thoughts about it?
So we do have very good premier institutions which are already providing knowledge on this particular topic and sector. But I think one way is to engage with such institutions and have a lot of exposure visits and real-time project work that is given to the students. Like where as an intern only they get exposed to the different issues and challenges. And like hackathons, we can have different competitions, water related competitions, where young people are asked to come up with innovative solutions for various water related challenges. So I think the curriculum needs to be more of interactive basis, engaging the students right from their academic level directly into the field. So, the students will also have a clarity on where they want to go, how they want to mold their career,
Mm.
and all. I think Taste and Terry have always been doing these things. So probably the other academic institutions can also follow similar model. And
Yes.
then, yeah.
I think extremely important and good that you brought these two institutions' name. And I think more and more universities have to take up the water education. But anyhow, that brings me to my questions are over from you, but also the last question to you that is that if you have any questions for me or about anything related to what you see in Wiki Water Resource Council, this is a good time to ask because I'm done with my questions.
So, Mansi, it's not that you are here, but I would like to add you next to Mini Margin, ma'am, in my inspiring list.
Yeah, thank you so
So,
much. So, yeah.
Me being in this group is only because of you. I have had no prior connections with you or anybody in this group, and I
Many,
happen
many
to
people. We are just first time. I mean, yeah.
first time, yeah. So I think me being part of this group is a real big honor for me, and I really thank you and all the fellow members in the group.
No need to thank me. I mean, we are just trying to gather a mass to tell the society that here are a group of women who are working hard on the water in the water sector.
Yeah.
Just know them. That is more than enough as a woman. Just know them, acknowledge their contribution, appreciate their contribution because they can do wonders. You know.
So I have no questions for you, but I pledge my support to you in taking forward your dream, Mansi.
Oh, it's our dream. It's not my dream, to be
Yeah,
honest.
our dream together.
Here,
Yeah.
I'm here for a very short time, and hopefully next time we have a better president in the Wiki Water Resource Council. I'm just working till I am here in that position. So thank you so much, Shaili Jasthi, and it's really pleasure to have this interaction with you. And it is also a good time if we can open the floor to other people if they want to ask you some question. Please go ahead and unmute yourself and ask her question. Let's see if people want to ask you some question. Anybody would like to ask her some question? Or anything related to her work or she as an individual, this is a good time to ask her.
I can see my professor Narayan Rao sir has joined this webinar.
Yes, so
Thank you
Narayan
so much,
Rao,
sir.
please ask her question. This is a good time.
Thank you so much, sir, for joining this session.
Okay. I don't see any hand. Go ahead, sir.
Congrats, Shaili.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. It gives me immense support to see your name on the screen.
Yeah, you have been doing a lot of good work, and please keep it up. And wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
It's always play. I mean, teachers really feel very proud when they see their students doing very well. Thank you so much, Narayan Rao sir. A
Thank
really
you.
pleasure to have you here. Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. And thank you so much, Shelly, for this enlightening interaction. Very sharp, short and sweet answers. That was the major takeaway for me. You were so precise. I really felt the conversation was flowing like water, and I hope you also enjoyed this conversation as I did. Um, may you become an inspiration to others in the years to come. And we are grateful to have learned about your water endeavors. May you also continue your water activities and do keep us posted about those. We shall continue with our Monday munching and musing with Women for Water every Monday at 5 p.m. and look forward to learning more from more women from the water sectors.
Sure.
You may please follow our social media platform for regular updates. For now, thank you so much and please take care. And thanks a lot. Bye bye. Take care.
Thank you all. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you, Mansi, for having